Okay, so we are going to start to know what is wave equation. So wave equation is also a partial differential equation. So just like for heat equation, I gave you the real life process that some rod is there, some physical system is there to which heat is being supplied, and then you see that how the heat or the temperature is getting distributed over the system. So that is modeled by heat equation. So similarly for wave equation, we do have the real processes. So basically it is going to model the motion of a vibrating string with both ends fixed. So now it's a very easy to imagine and understand. Even you might have done these kind of experiment in your physics lab, that suppose you have a string, right? So you have a string and its ends are fixed. So you have a string in between two endpoints A and B, right? So the endpoints are fixed. That is what it means by endpoints are fixed. This is initially at rest, no motion is there and nothing is there. That is the initial condition. Now what do? You just pick up any point of the string, any particular point of the string. Say you pick up the middle point, it can be any arbitrary point on the string, and then you just pluck this string from this point onward. So I just hope all of you can imagine what do we mean by that. So you just, the string is fixed, you pluck it from a particular point. So what will happen? So what is going to happen in that case? When you pluck this string from here, so basically you are displacing the string from its initial position to some particular position. So you are giving some displacement, you are giving some distortion to the string. And but basically we are giving the displacement, what kind of displacement? Vertical displacement, because you cannot give the horizontal displacement, right? Because the ends points are fixed in this direction along the horizontal axis, you can't produce a motion because the end points are fixed. So what you have to do is vertically, in the vertical plane you have to introduce the motion. So for that you just distort the string by plucking it from anywhere, or you just randomly give it a velocity. So there are many ways of doing that, that how you initially try to generate the vertical displacement or give the string a vertical displacement. So once you give that vertical displacement and then you just drop, then you just leave the point C, and what will happen after this? The string will start vibrating. There will be vibrations set up in the string. This experiment you might have done, so all of you can understand this, that this is what is going to happen. So once the string will start vibrating, so what is going to happen? It is going to generate waves. Basically these kind of waves are known as standing waves, and there will be two waves generated, one from the left hand point, one from the right hand point, and their interposition, their superposition over each other is going to give a solution. So the string is going to generate some waves. Let me just show you a demonstration for the same. Let me just see if I have, just give me 1 minute. Let me see if I can show you. This is one, but there was another one. Yes. Are you able to see that? Yes, I just hope you are able to see this one. And what I wanted to show you, basically, this is a example of a standing wave. This is generated mechanically, right? Uh, or like with the help of a machine. This is not manually. This is because this much speed you need to generate with the external power. So whatever. So you can see here the endpoints are fixed and the string is being vibrated. So it's set into the set of vibrations. And as you can see, particularly at this formation, you can see the waves are being generated. One wave is being created from the left end and one wave is being created from the right end. If you look at that, this one. So, and similarly, this may look like to you there are two strings, but actually there is just one string. So at any point, so this is your space X, and this is happening at different times. The position is different, at a particular time the displacement is different, and about this point the displacement is different. So the vertical displacement, if you make that as your unknown function, right, that how far, or what is the displacement, what is the distortion, or this is actually known as deflection. So what is the deflection of the string at a particular time, at a particular point in the string itself? So that is a function of both x and t, because you see this deflection is varying in magnitude x wise also and time wise also, because if you run it for in future, so you see the deflection starts changing. So this u becomes a function of x and t. So mathematically, if you want to model this motion, so we need an equation for that, and that equation is basically going to be our wave equation, right? So standing waves we are going to model with the help of wave equation, and we will be looking at one dimensional wave equation. So I'll be directly telling you the equation again, because the very fundamental laws of physics are going to be used to derive the equation, but here we are not interested in deriving the equation. I'm just directly going to tell you the equation, right? So this is also a partial differential equation. Uxx is equal to 1 by k times utt, or another way it is written as utt is k times uxx, or you want to write it in more detail, del 2u by del t square is k times del 2u by del x square. So what is the difference between the heat equation and this equation? The difference is in heat equation, if you remember, in heat equation you had ut is equal to k uxx. For space you had the second order derivative, but for time you just had the first order derivative. So here for time also you are having the second order derivative. So that is the difference, and this is known as one dimensional wave equation. One dimensional means because one dimensional in space, you're only looking at the u as a function of x and t, right? So what is u now? Let me define this. So u, as I just explained you with that demonstration, that u is going to be the deflection, which is also actually known as the vertical displacement. Deflection is a more strong word for the same. So it's deflection of the string at point x and time t. So here also, since the endpoints are fixed, so what you can say is the left end point is x is equal to 0 and the right end point is x is equal to L, right? X starts from the left end. You start measuring your x from the left end point. So at left end point x is 0, at right end point x is equal to L. So what is the length of the string? So length of the string is L. Just like in heat equation, we have length of the rod. In wave equation, we have length of the string. So we got U, and similarly K. So K is going to have its physical meaning. So just like K had a physical meaning in heat equation, so K is going to be related with the properties of the string itself, right? So K is going to be positive. So it is a constant or the coefficient associated with the properties of the string. right? Whatever is the material of the string and howsoever, so k is going to be coming from there, right? So now, similar to the heat equation, we are interested in finding solution of the wave equation. So to find this solution of one dimensional wave equation, which is uxx is 1 by k times utt, right? So how many conditions do you need now? How many boundary conditions, how many initial conditions do you need? Yes, we need four conditions. Two of them will be boundary conditions. So four conditions will be required. Two boundary conditions coming from the endpoints, right? So they will be on the form U0T ULT. This is, already that how we define the boundary conditions. That time, this is for all times, but X is fixed. What are the boundaries of the system? X is equal to 0 and X is equal to L. So this is for simplicity taken to be 0. Now, in heat equation also, I told you that this is coming from whenever they say the endpoints are maintained at zero temperature. But here it has more stronger meaning for wave equation. So what is u denoting? If you look at the physical meaning of u is denoting the deflection. So can you see what is the deflection? What is the vertical displacement at the end point? The end points are never going to change their position, right? So whatever displacement is happening here, there, here, in the middle, wherever in the string, but there is no displacement going to happen for A and B, no vertical displacement happening for A and B. So that is why this deflection at the end points is always going to be zero. So these are the most natural boundary conditions coming from the dynamics of the system, the kind of system you have considered. This is giving rise to these conditions. So this just means that deflection at the end points is zero, right? Or endpoints are at rest. They are not moving, they are at rest. So this will be two boundary conditions, and then we need two initial conditions. So initial conditions, because in heat equation there was first order time derivative, so one initial condition was needed. In wave equation there is second order time derivative, so therefore two initial conditions are needed. So one will be telling you the value of u at t is equal to 0 for all x, and another will be telling you the value of del u by del t at t is equal to 0. This is similar to, you can go back to the chapter of Laplace transform and even go back to the first chapter of differential equations. So there we know whenever we have the second order differential equations coming, so we are given initial conditions like this. If you remember, y at 0 is something, y dash 0 is something. So especially in the chapter of Laplace transform, because both of the conditions are specified at the same point. There is a difference between the boundary conditions. Boundary conditions are specified at different points. So they can be representing same thing, that is the value of u. But in initial conditions, the point is same. The point means the time. T is 0. So one is for u, one is for del u by del t. So these will be given to us, right? But this is also going to be a function of x. This is also going to be a function of x. Now, what is going to be their physical meaning? We already understood the physical meaning of boundary condition. That means simply the endpoints are resting. They are not moving. Their displacement is 0. So the physical meaning of these initial condition is, so the first one, if you look at u at x0 is equal to fx, this signifies initially how the string is given vertical displacement. That initially how you displace the string. So just like this is your string, right? Initially. So initially it may happen that initially it was at time is equal to 0. It was just a lying in rest. The string might be in rest, or when you just pluck it from the middle or from any of the point, and then what profile you gave initially? because the time starts counting from the point when you leave the string for setting the vibrations, right? Initially, obviously, it is at rest, but that is not t is equal to 0. T is equal to 0 is this time that when you pluck the string from a particular point and then you leave. So initially, you see this as a function of x. So there is a triangular profile. So this f function is having different values at different x, because this is your x-axis, right? So this is a triangular profile. So depending upon how you pluck the string or how you give it the vibration, so you will have fx. So physically it means this. So mathematically you will be given different fx accordingly, right? I just hope that is clear. And then if you talk about the second one, the physical meaning of the second condition, del u by del t, x at 0 is equal to gx. So can anybody tell me what del u by del t is going to denote? If u is displacement, what is the derivative, time derivative of displacement? Velocity. Yes, that's perfectly right. It's velocity. It's the speed. So that means when you just pluck it up from here at this point, then there are two options, right? Either you simply drop it, or you leave the string with a push, right? With a push, manual push or a pull or something, like you just give it a particular force. So that means by giving that particular force, you are giving it a speed, you are giving it a velocity. It is the similar situation when, say, you have a ball in your hand and you raise it up to a certain height, and then you just drop the ball from a height. If you just drop the ball from a height, then its initial speed is 0. But if you just don't drop it, but you just give it a push, you just give it an initial motion, so then in that case initial velocity is going to be some function, right? So this means that what initial velocity is given to the string. So that's what it means. So this will also be a function of x, which will be given to you in the question. And most of the time this is 0, because just for simplicity, it is assumed that you are not giving a manual push, but it, in general, it can be a function of x. So this is the whole structure of wave equation. You have your equation, you have two boundary conditions, and you have two initial conditions. And now we will be solving it. So the solution is exactly in the same way, on the similar lines, the way we did for the heat equation. So even though if somebody has missed the solution of heat equation, you can just follow it up and you will get it exactly quickly, similar to the heat equation. Yes, so uxx is 1 by k times utt, right? So what is the method? So we are applying the method of that separation of variables, and according to that method you just assume your function, your solution is a product of two variables, capital X and capital T, where capital X is a function of x only and capital T is a function of t only. And once you do that, so now you know you need to find uxx and you need to find utt, and then you substitute. So I'm calling this equation number 1, and this one say equation number 2. So from 2, you find uxx and utt. So let's quickly do that. So what will be ux? Let me just write that. Yes, so ux is going to be x dash into t, and uxx is going to be x double dash into t, and ut is xt dash and utt is xt double dash. So you substitute the value of uxx and utt in equation 1, we will be getting x double dash t is 1 by k times x t double dash. So x double dash by x is 1 by k times t double dash by t, and both of them should be equals to a constant due to the same reason we discussed for heat equation, because the left hand side is a function of x only, the right hand side is a function of t only, so both of them should be equal to a constant. So this gives me a set of two ordinary differential equations. Right. So this one is actually d2x by dx2 is equal to omega x. So this is d2x by dx2 minus omega x is equal to 0. So firstly, I'm solving this equation, right? Now here also, if you will be doing it exactly the similar way which we did for heat equation. So you know these are your original boundary conditions which are in terms of u. So we transform these boundary conditions to the for the variable x, and you will get x at 0 is 0 and x at l is 0. So this part we have done in heat equation. So directly coming from there, I'm writing. Okay, so now you need to solve this equation along with these two conditions. So again, there will be three cases: omega 0, omega positive, and omega negative. So in these two cases, you will be getting the trivial solution. Trivial solution means x is equal to 0. X is equal to 0 means u is equal to 0. That means nothing happened. You did not displace, you did not give any vertical displacement to the string, or you just gave it, but at any times the string is not moving. So this is kind of a very trivial solution, not required. We require a non-trivial solution. So how in these two cases trivial solution will be coming, that for that also you need to follow the previous lectures, the way we did for heat equation. So this case will be relevant for omega less than 0. So for omega less than 0, I'll be putting omega is minus lambda, where lambda is something positive. So I have the equation d2x by dx2 plus lambda x is equal to 0. So auxiliary equation m square plus lambda is equal to 0. So m is plus minus square root lambda iota. So this is going to be giving me this solution c1 cos root lambda x plus c2 sine root lambda x, and then using the boundary conditions. What boundary conditions? X at 0 is 0 and x at L is equal to 0. This is, you see, this equation is exactly similar what we did for heat equation. So I'm just, that's why quickly writing. So in this case, you will be getting your x is equal to C2, because C1 will be 0 when you will be using this condition. C1 will be 0 and you will be getting only C2 sine n pi by L x, because you will get the same value of lambda n square pi square by L square, and square root of lambda is going to be n pi by Lx. And then what is the value of n? N is 1, 2, 3 and so on. So that's why you get infinitely many solutions. Xn is equal to an or cn, you can write whatever, sine n pi by Lx. So you got so many, you got infinitely many solutions for the this x equation. Now the same calculation we are going to do for the t equation, right? So for here also, we will start directly from the case omega is negative. So omega is minus lambda, because we have already explored the cases omega 0 and positive are giving you trivial solutions. So when you do this, so you will get t double dash by kt is equal to minus lambda. So this way you will be getting t double dash by t is minus k lambda. So d2t by dt square is minus lambda k t. Just a minute. So the difference between this and the previous equation is there's just additional k is coming. So when I will be writing it like this, so your auxiliary equation is m square plus lambda k is 0. So m is plus minus lambda ki. So k is also coming in the square root. K is positive. This was given to us in the question. So in this case, the same value of lambda, you will be using n square pi square by L square, because that has already been derived for the x part. So you will get your t is equal to, again here you will be getting two terms, t c3 cos lambda kt plus c4 sine lambda kt. Just like here we got x is equal to c1 cos root lambda x, c2 sin root lambda x. So here you get c3 cos root lambda kt plus c4 sin root lambda kt. Now, for x, we had the boundary conditions, but for t, we did not have the conditions. We do have the conditions for t, but you remember, just like the previous heat equation, we will use those initial conditions in the end, right? So we are going to use them in the end. For right now, I'm just going to retain these two constants, C3 and C4. I'm not going to use the conditions to evaluate this C3 and C4. So this for Tn also you will get infinitely many values of solution because lambda is a function of n, as you can see. So putting this value of lambda n square pi square by L square here, I will be getting some constant. So you can call it Cn cos n pi by L square root k into t plus Tn sine n pi by L square root k into t. So you got xn and you got tn, right? This for n is equal to 1, 2, 3. So what is your solution? So your solution un xt is going to be a product of xn and tn. So this is an sine n pi by lx multiplied with cn cos n pi by l square root kt plus dn sine n pi by l square root k t. So this is how the complete solution is. Un is there. And then you know that actually your solution is going to be the sum of all these. Your u is basically going to be the most generalized solution is going to be the sum of all these infinite solutions. So this is an sine n pi by lx into cn cos n pi by l square root kt plus dn. And further, one more step if you do, so this an into cn, if you just multiply, so an into cn will be another constant. Let me call it capital An cos n pi by l square root kt, and this an into dn, I'm calling it capital Bn sine n pi by l square root kt. This whole is being multiplied with sine n pi by lx. So for x, there is actually only sine terms coming, but for t, there is cosine as well as sine terms coming. So you can see here how many arbitrary constants are there. Means if you just look at one time, so it's an and bn. So after this, the question will be solved using the initial conditions. So we'll be using now initial conditions to find the values of an and bn. So what initial conditions are given? ux0 is fx. This is the first initial condition. So first initial condition. So let me call this double star. So when you put this initial condition here, so you need to put t is equal to 0. So when you put t is equal to 0, you will get ux0 is equal to summation. Yes, at t is equal to 0, this term is going to vanish because sine of 0 is equal to 0. So only you will be getting an cos n pi by l square root k into 0 into sine n pi by lx. Actually, I can directly write. So this is cosine of 0 is 1. So basically, this is an sine n pi by lx, and on left hand side you have ux0, which is same as f of x, because this is the condition we are using. So basically you get f of x is summation n is equal to 1 to infinity an sine n pi by lx. So what is this? This is Fourier half range sine series, right? Because the function is having only sine terms. So what will be the value of your an? 2 by L, 0 to L, f of x sine n pi by lx dx. So that means ultimately this was u and you wanted to evaluate this an and bn. So as you can see, this an has been evaluated. One constant we got evaluated using one initial condition. Now similarly, we'll be using the second initial condition to get the value of bn, right? So what is the second initial condition? We have second initial condition is del u by del t x at 0 is gx. So it is with del u by del t. So that means firstly I need to write u. So u I have just computed. So I'm writing that again. So this is u an cos n pi by l square root kt plus into sine n pi by lx. This is u. You want to find first del u by del t from here, and then we will be putting t is equal to 0 and then equating with gx. So what is del u by del t? So you differentiate with respect to t partially, right? So you need to do partial differentiation with respect to t. So here it is minus sine. So this constant will be n pi by l square root k an into sine n pi by l square root kt, and for the second term it is going to be again plus n pi by l square root k into bn into cosine. So sine derivative is cos derivative is minus sine, and multiplied with the respective scalars. And this sine is obviously going to remain same because this is a function of x, not t. So this is just going to act as a constant. Now in this del u by del t, you put t is equal to 0. So when you put t is equal to 0, so this term will vanish this time, the first term. So you will get the second term. So the second term is summation n is equal to 1 to infinity bn. So this cos of 0 will be 1. So you will get bn into n pi by, l root k into sine n pi by l into x. So this is given to you gx, right? So you will get this. So basically gx, or you can shift this constant to the other side. So gx is equal to summation n is equal to 1 to infinity bn into n pi by l root k into sine n pi by lx. So this is also with series Fourier half range sine series. So this way, now this is a multiplier. So the difference between previous and this one was there was it only an, here it is bn into this coefficient. So bn into this coefficient is equal to 2 by l 0 to l g of x sine n pi by lx dx. So this is the expression, and from here you can find bn by shifting this to other side. So this is 2 by l into, oh yeah, l will go l by n pi 1 by square root k 0 to l. So this ll goes. So basically you will be getting bn is this. So in your questions, you can directly use this value of bn. So bn is also evaluated. So you see, we used the two initial conditions to evaluate an and bn. So you need to directly use this in the question, because not every time you will be deriving this, right? So in the questions, directly you just remember these formulas, get your value of an and bn, and once you get your an and bn, you see your solution of the wave equation is there, given by this double star expression, right? So that finishes the wave equation. Yes, please ask if you have any doubt. We'll do one more one question for this. This was the derivation part, so we can just directly do the question quickly if you have no doubt. 1 and 2 are trivial. This is the same way you will get trivial. The way I explained you for heat equation. If you are asking how do you know 1 and 2 are trivial, you do the calculation. You put omega is equal to 0. You use the boundary conditions. You will get x is equal to 0. This solution, you will get x is equal to 0 from there. X is equal to 0 means u is equal to x into t. U is 0. What do you mean by u is 0? U0 means nothing is happening. Initially, you gave a displacement, but still U remains 0. That means no vibrations are produced in the string. So that is physically not acceptable solution. It's a trivial solution, so because it's just a mathematical solution. It's coming as a result of calculation, but it's not really going to replicate the physical phenomena. That is why the cases are rejected. Omega 0 and omega greater than 0. Because they give you, this is trivial is a mathematical term, but I will say, so this is physically infeasible solution. This is not that matching the dynamics happening physically. So let's just do the question for the same, and that will then finish this, sorry, chapter. Right. So let's do a question. So the statement is an elastic string of length L is fastened, you know the meaning, at x is equal to 0 and x is equal to L, means endpoints are fixed and picked up at center x is equal to 1 by 2. So you just pick it up from the center. How much you pick up? So you give an initial height L by 2 and then release without giving any velocity or speed. So you just release it. So that means without giving any velocity means your initial velocity is going to be 0. Gx is going to be 0. So the what they are asking you to find displacement of the string at any point of time. So basically you can see in the question nowhere they are mentioning, nowhere they are mentioning that this is a wave equation, but by reading the question itself, you understand that this is a question of wave equation because they are talking about a string. So basically what they have done, so there is a 0, there is a L, so in the middle point, exactly, yeah, so this is also L by 2. In the middle point, they just pick up the string and they just give it a rise of L by 2 and then you just release it, right? So that means initially your function becomes this one. This is your initial displacement given to the string because this is what's going to happen. You're just picking it up from one particular point, the middle point, and so this will be the initial deflection, initial vertical displacement. You know the vertical displacement given at the middle point, but what about rest of the points? So for that, you have to get a function. So as I told you, directly you can start from the solution. So what is the solution? Solution is an cos n pi by L square root k t plus bn sine n pi by L square root k t into sine n pi by Lx. This is a solution where an and bn needs to be found. So, and you see, is anything given to you? So you're not given k, so that means k needs to be kept as k, and you are given L, length of the rod is L. They might give you some numerical value also, so you can substitute that numerical number here. So directly we'll go for computation of an and bn. So for that, we need the initial conditions. So if you look at the formula for an, the formula for an is this: 2 by L, 0 to L fx. So what is fx? Fx is coming from what is u at x is equal to, what is u at t is equal to 0. So initially, what is your function? Yeah, so it is 2 by L, 0 to L, f of x sine n pi by Lx dx. Yes, fx is this profile, this initial deflection is your f of x means which is u at x is equal to 0. Yes, so this is just explained to you with the help of wording, but what will be fx? Yes, can anybody mathematically tell me what is going to be fx? How do you write this equation for this function? How do you write function for this one? The triangular profile over the domain 0 to L, right? Just a minute. Just give me 1 minute. Yes. What is going to happen here? What is going to be the function? How the function is going to be defined? Can anybody tell? From 0 to L by 2 and from L by 2 to L. You know, the function is having a two straight. So this is the behaving like the line y is equal to x. How it is, how do I know this is representing y is equal to x? Because if you look at this, so this is at 0, u is 0. At L by 2, the deflection is L by 2. They have given you this magnitude. This is also L by 2 and this is also L by 2, right? So the line segment joining 0, 0 and L by 2 comma L by 2 is obviously going to represent y is equal to x, because phi and x are always going to be same on the same line. So this is the function fx is equal to x, and what will be the function on this side? So basically these are straight lines. So you just need to find the equation of the lines. What is this point? This point coordinates is L comma 0. So L is the x value I'm writing. It's u I'm writing as its coordinate. Yes, so what is the equation of this one? This is going to be L minus x, right? Because when you put L is equal to L, x is equal to L, this will be L minus L0. When you will be putting x is equal to L by 2, this will be L by 2, because there is no discontinuity. It's a continuous function. It is just you need to write a mathematical equation for the same. So that is the important point in this particular question, that fx directly is not given to you. It may be given to you in certain questions, but in this question, it was not given to you. You yourself have to mathematically find the equation of fx, because something you need to substitute here, right? So this is fx we have evaluated, right? X from 0 to L by 2 and L minus x from L by 2 to L. So this value of fx, when you will be substituting from here, so your integral will get divided in two parts. 0 to L by 2 for fx, you will be substituting x. And then L by 2 to L, you will be substituting L minus x. Right, so we are done with time. I'll continue from here the next time, and then I will take your rest of the doubts. Yeah, thank you. We'll continue next time.